Welcome to Windows Containers. In this demo, we will walk you quickly through Windows containers. So we have an OpenShift cluster. This cluster has multiple nodes. So typically, as any typical OpenShift cluster, we have 3 master and 3 worker nodes. One of those worker nodes is a Windows machine. So if we just click on this node, right, and quickly go to the details and look at the labels, right? So this node is labeled with Kubernetes IO OS equal in Windows, and we can see also that the OS image is Windows Server 2019. So we can also do the same from the CLI using OC get nodes. So now we can see this node is the Windows node. We can again show the labels. OC get nodes show labels. So our Windows node in the OpenShift cluster is labeled here. This is the one with the Kubernetes IO OS equal Windows. There are also we can also use another command OC and get the columns, right? Extract the columns using the custom columns to show each and every node, and next to it the operating system that the node runs. So this is one of our worker nodes running Windows operating system, Windows Server 2019. Good. So let's go back to our web console, and quickly we will go to the project where the Windows machine config operator is installed. So in this project we will find 2 pods and 1 job. So the first job is nothing but pulling the Windows image. So for those the Windows containers, and there are multiple options there. So this job, what the job is doing is pulling the Windows image to the Windows node. So you can see now Docker pull from Microsoft registry, the Windows server node. The second pod is the WinC shell, right? So this is just a jump pod. We will use it later to connect to the Windows node. So to be able to remotely or jump to the Windows node, we will use this jump pod. So what we will do now, we will just run a shell session, right, using the rsh command. To this pod, and from this pod we will jump to the Windows server. So just getting the pod using the pod label, right, this one. Okay, and we rsh means creating a SSH session. So now we are inside the pod. There is a simple script there that allows us to quickly connect to the Windows node. So what we will do, we'll just run this shell script that will let us log into the Windows node and start using the PowerShell. So this is the again the Windows node, and now we have the Windows PowerShell. So what we can quickly do, let's see, for example, what is running there in terms of container images. So we can say Docker PS, right? Is there any running containers or not? There is nothing running there. We can also see the images. Yes, we can see that the Windows Server core image is there in the Windows Server, and this is done using the job, the one we have seen completed. Okay, so we can also see the processes running on the server, so we can clearly see Docker is running, and we have the overlay, the OVN, that again provide the SDN implementation. Also the kubelet and the kube proxy services all are running on the Windows node. Okay, so now we will just exit and also exit back to our OC command, right? Let's check which project, current project. So there is no project yet. So we will just set the project to demo project. So this will be the current project. And then what we will do now, we will create Windows container using OpenShift running on this node, and we will see how OpenShift will be managing this Windows container. Just to create the Windows container, we have a simple template. This template has two Kubernetes objects. One of them is the service object, the second one is the deployment. So this is the service object. Again, listening to port 80, and we have a simple deployment object, and this deployment object, as we can see, is running the container image, the server core, Windows Server Core 2019. And we just using the PowerShell, using the arguments and commands, starting HTTP listener and listening to port 80, right? And we just write a simple response, right? I'm sure those are familiar with the PowerShell scripts. They understand this very well, and we just writing this response, Windows Container Web Server, okay? So again, a service object and a deployment object in one template. So we will use the OC create -f command and passing this template, and definitely we will set the namespace to demo. So create OC create -f the file that has a template, and then -n demo. So create those two objects inside the demo namespace. So as you can see, a service is created and deployment is created as well. So switch, go back to the console, we switch to a demo project, and we can see now that the Windows web server starting now. So starting the Windows core image, and also in the deployment object we have the command there inside the Windows container using PowerShell to create this HTTP listener listening to port 80. So let's go back to the Windows node and see now Docker PS. Yes, we can see now that the container is running, okay, on the Windows node. And if you go back, yes, here is our container. So there is a HTTP listener, a web server there. So what we will do, we will just expose the service created there through OpenShift route to be able to test this HTTP listener, okay? So as we can see now, Docker PS, right, listed all the running containers. We'll go back and get the service, right, which is a one web server, and then we will expose this one web server, okay, through the route. So OC expose SVC, and when web server is the service name. So we can see the route is created. Just click on the route, we get the response. So now we successfully managed to run the Windows container on the Windows node. So let's now do some OpenShift core management functions on this running Windows container. Okay, so first let's try to again connect or use the PowerShell, right, connecting to this running Windows container. So right now we are inside the Windows container. Okay, so this running container, we are inside the Windows container, and if we simply dir, right, this is the container file system. We have the program, the very famous program files, and the Windows folder. So let's exit. Okay, and now let's scale this bot. So now we have two bots running. So what will be the impact? Yes, as we expect, if you go back to the Windows node and do docker ps, we will definitely see that now two containers are running, not only one. So as you can see, because we scale the bot up by running two bots. So if we scale it down again, so it's only one bot running, means we killed one container here. So if we do docker ps again, as we can see, it's only one container running there. Okay, so yeah, we forget about the PowerShell. So if we shut down all the bots, so means on the Windows node there will not be any running containers. So if you go and do docker ps, 0 containers are running.